Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be using my felties or embroidery items which came in my deluxe dream box from Sophia Grace craft supplies. So I'm going to be using these two here. This one is a 𝘰𝘮𝘭 and this one is a furry friend. You get the fur with the felty, and I'm going to mix and match my fabrics and make a bow using these two felties today. I will show you first how to cut out your felties and then I will make the bows. So this one, to begin with, you just simply cut around the image and you want to leave around 1mm or 2 from the stitching. So I'm using my Fiskars fabric scissors and I'm just very carefully moving my felty round as I'm cutting it. And you don't want to cut through the stitching because that will ruin your felty, so only cut around the outer edges of your stitching. And like I said, make sure you leave around 1mm or 2 all the way around that edge. So I'm going to finish cutting this one out. You can discard of the excess, and then using a lighter, as you can see, some of the felt parts come out a little bit fluffy. So I'll just use a lighter and just run it very carefully and quickly around the edges, and that will just get rid of any fluffs. This piece here went a bit black, so I'm just going to trim off the black bit. It caught quite quickly with that flame and it burnt, so I'm just going to cut that burnt bit off. So that is the first felty now cut out, so I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to cut out my 𝘰𝘮𝘭 felty in the same way. So on this one you've got 2 separate little feet and then your 𝘰𝘮𝘭. So this is how you cut out your felties, and then I'm going to set this 𝘰𝘮𝘭 one aside and I'm just going to show you how to make this one first. So I've got this marabou feather trim that comes with this felty in the dream box, or you can order them separately on Sophia Grace Craft Supplies website. I will pop a link to everything that I use in the description below so you can check out all of the products and the fabrics out. So first of all, I like to see which way my feathers lay. So on this marabou feather trim, my feathers are coming down in this direction, and I like to just trim off the top. You do get a lot of mess making these. I will have to get my vacuum out afterwards. And then I like to work out where it's going to sit on his body. And then trim off a little bit longer. So his body's about 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut off to about here. So about 1/2 inch longer than him. I'm just going to move these feathers upwards and then cut. Again, you will get a lot of excess feathers fall away, that is natural. Can't be avoided, unfortunately. But this does gives a lovely finish, a lovely effect on these little felties. So taking my hot glue gun, I'm using the Dremel 940. I know it's a very bad mess. I've had it a while and it is very well loved and used. I'm going to place a bit of hot glue on this underside and then just fold this top piece over like that, just so that when I stick it on his body it will sit better. And then once I'm happy with that, picking up my felty, I'm going to place some glue on his body, and then I'm going to press in my feather trim into his body. I know it's covering his face a little bit, but you can brush these down and you can also give it a little trim. So any little bits that are in his face, you can give them a trim. You can also give him a trim around the edges. I like to cut into it a little bit so it's not too straight, if that makes sense. He's got now this nice rounded fluffy body, and that is the look I was aiming for. I'm just going to clean up my mess and then I'm going to attach him to a hair clip. So you can attach this to anything you like. You could attach this to an Alice band or a baby headband, but I'm going to pop mine onto a clip because I'm going to make a pair of clips today in this panda theme. So taking some 1 centimetre wide ribbon, I'm just going to heat seal the raw edge and I'm going to wrap my hair clip. I'm using a 45mm double prong clip. These are just the ones that I prefer. It's down to your personal preference. You may want to use a toothed clip, but these ones I just think are much gentler on the hair and more comfortable to wear. That's what my daughter tells me. I'm just going to trim off where I need it. Again, heat seal the raw edge. I don't need to glue this part because it's an open prong clip. I just need to pop the glue on this part here, and then when I open the clip and stick it down, it will stick and hold both sides together. So I now have this lined clip to match my feltie. I'm going to stick this now on the underside. So I'm going to pop some glue on the clip and I'm going to pop my clip along the underside of his neck, sort of around the middle halfway mark. You could pop this on a bow, in the middle of a bow, but I like this just as it is. I think these are super cute on clips as they are. They would even look gorgeous on a snap clip, like a glitter fabric covered snap clip or something like that. So that is the panda feltie now complete, and now I'm going to make a bow and use my peekaboo feltie. So the fabrics I'm going to be using today are these 3 here. These all came from my deluxe dream box from Sophia Grace Craft Supplies. I did do an unboxing video for these. If you would like to see it, save this video now into watch later, and I will pop a link to the unboxing video here to show you what you get in the dream box and a little bit more about it. I will also link everything that I use in the description below so you can check these out. The templates I'm going to be using to make this bow is the Beauty Bow by Glitter Glitter on the Wall. I'm using the loops which make the 3.5 inch bow, the tails for the 3.5 inch bow. I'm using the loops which make the 2 inch bow, so it is 2 sizes down from these ones. Then I'm using the tails which make the 2.5 inch bow. I've made my own version of this template by extending the middle so that I can use it to layer up my 3.5 inch tails. You'll see more when I get to it. So first of all, taking my printed panda fabric, the one with all the little pandas, the bamboos and the flowers, and I'm going to draw around the front of this fabric, and the reason being is so I can pick out the pattern. So using my biro pen, I don't use any fancy pens because I cut the pen line out anyway. I'm going to pick out where I want my pattern to be on my bow. Now this is quite a good pattern, to be honest with you. You could probably just put this anywhere and you'd still get a lot of image on there because it's such a pretty fabric. So I'm going to go for, yeah, just put it in the corner there like that. That will be fine. Like that. And next, taking this black chunky glitter, I'm going to draw on the back of this, and as you can see, the back of this is black, so if I go in with my biro pen, you're not really going to see it. So for this kind of fabric, I use these chalk pencils. Again, I will link everything that I use in the description below, and these are just handy for these black backed fabrics so you can see where you've drawn around your template. I'm also going to draw around my 3.5 inch tails on the back of this fabric. And then taking the floral fabric, which brings out the flowers in this print here, I'm going to draw on the back of this one, and I'm going to use my template that I made as an extension of the 2.5 inch tails, and this is just to layer up my tail fabric. And now I'm ready to cut all of these shapes out. I will show you on this one just a quick little example of how I cut my fabric out when I'm using biro pen. So I very carefully cut just inside of the pen line. I use Fiskars fabric scissors as they cut through chunky glitter and leathers with ease. Again, I will link them in the description below. But just so you can see, I cut the pen line off so that there is none showing on my finished hair bow. So we've got all of our bits cut out now, ready to make our hair bow. So I'm going to start assembling it. I'm going to make the larger loops first. So I'm going to do that by placing some hot glue on both of the tab ends. And then we bring those into the center. I like to bring them back a little bit so that there's 2 or 3 millimeter overlap from the front toward the back, if that makes sense, like that, so that when you flip it over you don't see any of the back of the bow on there. And then I'm going to put together the smaller loops. I'm not going to layer them up just yet because I need to fit on my feltie. So in the same way, bringing the 2 tab ends into the center, leaving a slight overlap from the front to the back. And then I'm going to layer my extended tail onto my larger tail. So I'm just going to place some glue along the middle. And then layer this tail on the top. And that just gives it some extra detail. And I really like the black surrounding the lighter colour. It just makes that really pop. Now I can add my larger loops to my tail. So again, just pop some hot glue across the middle and pop those onto my tails. And then I'm going to add my clip at this point. So I've already lined a clip as I did for my panda feltie here. So I'm going to add some glue across my clip. I don't add glue on the pinch part, I like to keep that free. And I'm going to attach this to the underside of my bow. And I'm going to take my 1 centimetre wide ribbon now and wrap this around the centre. The reason being, I would normally wrap the centre with a glitter strip, but because we're adding this peekaboo feltie and I want some extra security on the bow and the clip, so I'm going to just use ribbon for this part. So I'm just going to heat seal this end, and I'm going to place some glue on the end and start wrapping this around the clip and the bow. Like I said, this just gives it some extra staying power, so I know that with this ribbon wrapped around here, that's going to hold that bow on the clip lovely and securely. So trim off the excess, put that to one side. Again, heat seal the raw edge. Finish off by gluing that to the underside of the clip. And as I tell everyone in all of my videos, I always just pinch the tails and the clip, or just the clip itself. You don't want to push down on your loops because otherwise you'll get a nasty crease in your leather fabric and it just leaves the bow looking flat. So this is what we've got so far, and now we're ready to add our feltie and our top loops. So we're going to take our feltie first of all, and we're going to place this under this loop. As you can see, it's a little bit too long, so I am going to have to trim it down. And you risk losing your stitching because obviously I've now cut through the stitching. So I'm going to use a lighter and heat seal this end, and hopefully once I pop my hot glue on here and stick this on, that will stop this from unraveling any further, the stitching. So I'm going to place my hot glue on there, make sure I cover that stitching, and then place my smaller loops over the top. And this is why this is called a peekaboo embroidery, because it just peeks over the top of the bow. You can have a play around with this, and you could have him coming out from the top and the bottom of one loop, but this is just the design that I'm showing you today, just to give you an idea of what you can do with these. And now I'm going to attach this to my bow. So I'm going to place the glue all the way across that loop and then layer this on the top of my bow. And that is the reason why I used these loops, which are 2 sizes down from this one, so you can still see this gorgeous pattern peeking out from underneath. I didn't want to cover it up too much, and the smaller bow just add an extra little bit of detail. And now we're ready to add the feet, so making sure you've got the feet the correct way round. So I would say they go like that, and we're going to add these to the bottom of this smaller bow. Placing my hot glue on that felt and placing it in the middle on that side of the loop, coming down from the bottom a little bit just to balance out the bow, and then taking the other foot and popping it on the other side. And there you go, there is our finished peekaboo panda hair bow, and then our little furry friend panda set on a clip on his own. Aren't they gorgeous? So don't forget, these are all available in the Dream Box by Sophia Grace Craft Supplies. If you haven't ordered yours already, she still has got a few available, so grab those quickly. If not, you can order these fabrics and felties all separately. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. I'll be back again soon with another tutorial. Bye for now.